Hello, I'm Jenny Fern. Welcome to my library. I'm a chaotic neutral mechanical engineer who's really into permaculture and wants to talk about books. So let's talk about books. Today I am picking out books for the Buzzword reading challenge hosted by Books and Lala. She posted her video just recently. I went through my shelves yesterday because I was so excited about it, and I wrote down a bunch of options for myself, but I did also realize these books are hidden. And so I gotta flip the spines around and see if anything matches the prompts. I'm wearing all red right now. I got these, not this, but I also got a red sweatshirt from my husband for like pajamas to be like warm and stuff. And so I have red sweatpants, red sweatshirt. I'm feeling very rebellious right now because all through grade school and high school I wasn't allowed to wear red to school because I lived in a town with gang violence and red was not an acceptable color. Anyway, I feel kind of bold. Al's screaming. Hi, Al. He's getting bigger. He's getting bigger. And his teeth are huge. His teeth are huge. Hi. Yeah. The prompts. The very first buzzword is truth and lies. The very first book that I thought of is in my stack of like the worst decision I ever made for this channel, which was to blindly buy a stack of books. Deception on His Mind is one of those books, and I was like, ooh, deception instead of lies? Strong. But I don't have any interest in reading that, to be perfectly honest. Then I saw Super Sad True Love Stories, which is up here somewhere. And I was like, that's obviously perfect. That's a perfect book for this. I was like, I like having options, so I want at least 2 options for each prompt. There we go. So I saw this, which was one of my husband's textbooks for like an acting class. It's called True and False by David Mamet. I could read that. I could be convinced. It seems short. But then I saw a book that I've been meaning to read. Norm Macdonald, based on a true story. I love Norm Macdonald. Life is just not the same now. Those are my 2 picks for truth and lies. So both of these end up being true. There's a girl who won't stop eating paper. So these are my picks. This next prompt I was actually so excited for, and it's water related words. The first book I saw right away, and I actually have so many water related books, so this was a little hard, but I just ended up going with the first 2 that I saw. The first one I'm excited about. No Signposts in the Sea by Vita Sackville West. I'm just excited for this, and it looks like it's nice and short. I think this will be a good one. You may be asking yourself, didn't she get a little step stool? And she did, but there are stacks of books on top of it, and I might break an ankle because I'm also wearing my platform sandals. The Wave by Susan Casey, which some of you may recall has a bunch of crap like splattered on it. Still does. Never cleaned it. Just put it right back. Just put it right back up. See, this is my problem. Oh my god. You know how in Jurassic World there's that guy holding those martini glasses? Isn't that Jimmy Buffett? That's like what it was, right? Can you tell it's a Friday? I feel like I'm giving off big Friday energy. It's also raining, so there's a bit of that energy as well. The third prompt is thing in quotations. So thing has to be in the title. And I also have a lot of thing books. I don't know if you can remember from Buzzwordathon last year, I had a really hard time finding anything with like direct quotations on my shelves. I had to find all of those from my like digital TBR. 3 books that I'm interested for this. 2 of these books are actually already on my TBR, so that's convenient. The first one I thought of was The Thing with Feathers, which is on my current TBR. Then I have a book that I need to read for a video because it's the video about reading my favorite musical artists' favorite books. And for that I have Things Fall Apart. Do I want to double dip? I feel like I don't usually double dip. Then I have probably one of the most perfect books for this prompt. That's Things, collection of stories of terror and shock by 6 science fiction greats. I had read almost half of it already in the past and then stopped in the middle of a story. That would be great to like finally finish reading this book. The cover art, oh my god, and even the back is just the black and white version of the front. It's such cool artwork. I really love this. I feel like all 3 of these books are solid. The next one I have is Animals. An animal has to be in the title of the book. For this, I immediately thought of one. I have a lot of animal books as well. To Say Nothing of the Dog by Connie Willis. Since I read Doomsday Book, I've been wanting to read Connie Willis again. So I'm excited for this. I was just scanning for a different prompt, and I had a title catch my eye. So let me go get that. Now this, I think, is one of the coolest books I have, and that is The Birds and the Frogs by Aristophanes. This side is the frogs, this side is the birds, and these are, you know, ancient plays. Literally such a cool book. I don't know how I got this in my possession. I've had it for years. I read up to page 16 of The Birds. This was my bookmark. Would love to read one or both of these plays. Had to take my little doggy out. It's pouring outside. But now I have a little cup of tea and I'm ready to continue. Too hot. The next prompt I actually had quite a hard time with, and that was 2 or 2, but not 2. Which, the only thing I saw for the longest time was A Tale of Two Cities, and it doesn't count. I did find something in my somewhat recent haul. I don't even know where I put it. One sec. That is Bridge to Terabithia. I've never read. I know it's sad. I'm a little afraid. This is what I got. The next prompt I was also really excited about. Memory related words. And I actually don't know if these count. I have 2 books that have like thought and thinking. I couldn't find anything that had like remember or anything like that. I feel like this should count. So this is The Water of Thought. Also water related words. This is an East double feature. The cover art on the flip side is so rad. So I'll read this, perhaps, or this book, Magical Thinking, which I had considered unhauling recently. So I could at least try this out and see if I want to get rid of it. If these don't count, I don't care. I'm just gonna do it anyway. And the next one was titles featuring punctuation. And the very first book that I saw, I don't know, I think she says specifically that this counts, but I can't remember if she said apostrophe or comma. It's got an apostrophe. Okay. So this one, I'm not sure if this counts, and that's Childhood's End. Gosh, I've been kind of like bopping around with this one, if I want to read it or I don't want to read it. Somebody did just comment about like their experience reading it, and that made me like more curious to read it. And then this one is actually perfect for punctuation because it has an ellipsis, and that's With Friends Like These. Probably one of the weirdest seeming books that I have. There's a lot to unpack. The next prompt is with, so with has to be in the title. And With Friends Like These is one of my only books that has with in the title, so that is going to be a double dip. And then I just picked this book up somewhat recently as well, so let me go grab that. Travels with Charlie. Super stoked that I've picked this up recently so that I can have this book to potentially read for that prompt as well. Events. So the idea was like prom, wedding, funeral, that kind of thing. This is the only book that I think could kind of work for this prompt. This is what I'm thinking. This thing happens sometimes, and you say, I'm going to the, and that's like an event. So it's The Night Circus. It's the only book I could find for this prompt. I don't know if I'm gonna convince myself to read this, to be perfectly honest. There's something in me where I am just putting it off. Another prompt I wasn't very excited about. This was violent words. Thanks to the stack of books that I don't want to own and all of my little free library books, I actually do have a lot of books with violent words like killing and absolute fear, killer instinct. There's a few things where I'm like, okay, that seems pretty violent, but I don't want to read those, so I don't want to sign myself up for them, you know? So then I was like, okay, I gotta get pretty creative, and I got 2 books that I've had on my TBR list for a while. So these books I have had on my shelf for quite a long time, and I've kind of just wondered if I should get rid of them. And I forgot what this was about. I knew it was about like terrorism in general, but now I'm like, oh brother. That's The Hunt for the Engineer, how Israeli agents tracked the Hamas master bomber. So, considering the state of the area today, I don't know, maybe this would be good to read. I kind of want to look up some reviews first, to be honest. The next book that I have is Burning the Days by James Salter. The violent words, hunt and burning. I can't say I'm super excited to read either of these. We got to one where I don't own a book, as far as I can tell from my shelves. That is another quote one, and it's Never. I have always wanted to read Nevermore. Maybe I read that. The only book that I can think of that I own, but I've already read, is Never Let Me Go. I don't know what to do for this one yet. I guess I might look at my list of books that I've accumulated and see if I have any nevers there. I could also maybe look through some of these like short story collections and see if there's anything that has never in the title of those. That's like a lot more labor than what I'm willing to do right now. The next clue, the next prompt is titles featuring alliteration. I thought, oh my god, this should be easy. This was so much harder than I thought it would be. I thought it would be so much more common to have alliterative titles. And so the 2 options that I have are a little suspicious. That for me, they're not like the perfect example of alliteration. Those books are The Clue and the Crumbling Wall by Carolyn Keene. When you say Carolyn Keene with The Clue and the Crumbling Wall, it sounds better. Just a Nancy Drew. White Witch of Kindness by Mary Calhoun. I want to have read this book. Maybe I'll pick this one up. Those are the only 2 that I could kind of like convince myself were alliterative. Hi bud, you smell like piss. Does somebody pee on you? Why do you smell like pee? Yep. What are we doing? That is the last prompt. That is the last prompt, except that there's also a cover-based one. I think I'm gonna end this video, but there will be a follow-up, which is the covers, and I'm really excited about it. Man, I had a thought earlier today. I'm like, ooh, what if I scanned all of my favorite book covers? And then I had like a little like archive that I could look at of all of my book cover inspiration and stuff. Anyway, I get like this sometimes. That's all I have. So these are the books. Let me know, what prompt did you or would you struggle with the most? Considering your TBR, what just does not tick the box? For me, I knew right away that like violent words, I probably wasn't gonna be super into. Thank you for joining me on this fun excursion creating my TBR. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, consider sharing it with a friend who you think would also enjoy it. Consider liking and subscribing, and I will be back again soon. And this time it'll be with the cover element of this challenge.